Okay guys, so let's get started with this foundation contour and highlighting video. The first thing I'm going to do is to apply Dermalogica Sheer Tint Moisturizer in SPF 20. This actually feels like a primer, so I use it as a primer, and one of the benefits is that it does have the SPF 20 in it, so I usually use that first before I apply my makeup. Then I'm gonna go in with my orange concealer. This one is from the MAC Medium Dark palette, I think. All the info will be in the description box below. So if it's not the medium deep, it will be another color down below. So I'm just applying this all over where I have any dark marks. I love to apply this around my nose because it's winter. I do get some redness there. And I'm going to apply this in the corners of my eyes, underneath my eyes, around my mouth, on any dark marks that I may have. And I'm just going to let that sit until I do the rest of my eye look and my brows. So this gets a chance to cook, as they say. So it's just going to pretty much, soak into your skin and become less orange. And as you guys can see, I did my eyes and I did my brows. So now I'm going to move on to my makeup. I'm using the stippling brush by Real Techniques, and I'm applying a darker shade, a shade that matches the perimeters of my face. And I'm just going to start with that color and apply it all over the all around the perimeters of my face, but I'm just going to leave the center blank for now. The color that I'm using here is in NW43, and it's from MAC's Pro Longwear foundation line. So I'm just going to use this around and then use the stippling brush just to stipple it in, but I'm later going to blend the color together. Now guys, do not take my color to get your color. I think the best thing to do is go into MAC and get yourself matched, or wherever you go. I think women of color, because we have natural contour and highlighted areas of our face, meaning the center is lighter, the perimeter is darker, most of us need to take two foundations. And you guys can see here that I'm going in with a lighter shade. This one is NC45 for the center of my face. So yeah, we do naturally have that in our skin, but if you do, you can go with one shade, whether the lighter or the darker, and work with contouring or highlighting to bring that feature back into your skin. I just choose to use two colors because I just like the look of the two colors better. So I'm going to first, as I said, stipple this in with a stippling brush, but I'm using this other brush by Bdellium Tools, and this is their 957 brush, and I'm just using that just to blend everything in. I just want my foundation to look like it's my skin and not like foundation sitting on my skin. And this is also the reason why I like the Pro Longwear foundations, because I haven't used MAC foundations in a couple years. I've actually just stopped. The last one I used was their Studio Fix foundation, which I personally didn't like, but it may work for you. I decided to give their Pro Longwear foundation a try, and turns out I actually like it a lot. So this is what I've been using. I went back in with my stippling brush on that area mostly because I do have those pigmentations, so I didn't add any further product. I'm just going back in with it just to make sure that those marks are covered. Next, I'm going to highlight, and for my highlighter, I'm using another MAC product. This one is called their Pro Longwear Concealer, and this is in the shade NW35. So I'm using that as a highlighter, and as you guys could see, it's not white. It is highlighting the center of my face, but it doesn't look like it's not my it doesn't look unnatural, is what I'm trying to say. So I'm just placing the product with that Real Techniques brush, and I'm just gonna go back in with the same brush that I used to blend my foundations in, and I'm just going to use that to stipple it. And as you guys could see, even applying my foundation and also my concealer, I'm doing like the smallest rapid stippling. I'm not dragging everything because I don't want to move what I've already put down. I didn't want to move my orange concealer, and I don't want to move my foundation. So everything that I'm doing, I'm stippling in. So yeah, I'm just doing the smallest, tiniest stippling in, sort of bouncing the brush all over my skin just to get it airbrush look without moving anything that I've already put down. For my powder to set the center of my face, I'm using a palette that I bought just at a conference. There was this lady there selling these powders, and I just bought them, and it's the one that I use has a yellow looking base to it. So if you guys have the Midnight Banana powder, you can always go ahead and use that if that's the shade that you're in. And I'm just going to, oops, sorry. I'm going to add a bit of the highlighter section from the Makeup Forever Sculpting Kit. This was very popular a few years ago, and I still have mine, and I use the highlighted shade, just a bit of it, to highlight the center of my face. And guys, it has the slightest bit of sheen to it, the slightest, tiniest bit of sheen. So that's why I like to use it in the center of my face, and mixing it with a bit of matte powder is just gives me that perfect finish that I like. It just makes everything so seamless. And of course, the foundation, I mean, the concealer has a lot to do with that as well. So here I'm using the same palette, but just a darker color, and I'm just going to use a semi-dark color to kind of contour my nose. This is honestly a video that can be on its own. You know, you can't really teach someone to contour the nose just like that, but that's what I'm doing. I'm using that same shade that I used for my nose, and I'm just going to start off by kind of shaping my cheekbones. And I'm just using a brush by BH Cosmetics. Their brushes are not name or numbered, so I think this is on their website is their blush brush. But it was very inexpensive. I think I paid maybe less than $5 for this brush, but I absolutely like it a lot for contouring. The contour I'm putting down, as you guys could see, I'm bringing it more towards my hairline. Because you want everything to kind of seamlessly go from light, medium, dark to really dark. And I'm just going to use that same shade to do under my chin and the sides of my neck. So the second darker shade that I'm going to use another brush, and I'm just pinching the bristles together so the darker color will sit right where, right in the center of my bone. And I want it to be that precise there because I'm further shaping and lifting my cheekbones. Then I'm going to release the bristles, and I'm going to blend the two together, but I don't want it to be super blended because I do want that shade to chisel out my cheekbones. Then whatever is left on the brush, I use it around my hairline and also, you know, everywhere else that I put the other shade. For my blush, I'm using a Sleek Makeup blush in the shade Sahara. This has just been the one that I've been using constantly for the past few months, and I just like it because it gives me the perfect color. I probably should use my other blushes, but I just like this one so much. And as you guys could see, the brush was barely touching my cheek. I just wanted something to give me some color, but you don't want to see blush on someone. Even though I'm a blush person, I absolutely love blush, but you don't want it to stand out so much. You just want it to give you that hint of color. For highlighting, I'm using one of L'Oreal's Infallible eyeshadow in the color Hourglass Beige, and I use that to highlight in the inner corners of my eyes as well as on the tip of my upper lip. For my highlighter, I'm using the Fairly Precious Extra Dimension Skinfinish blush from MAC's Magnetic Nude collection. I also did a video review on these, so if you guys would like to see that, it's the video before this one. And I'm just going to use that to further highlight and make my cheeks pop. And once again, a highlighter, I tend to go overboard with it because I love highlighting, especially at night. But guys, you just want to see your cheeks highlighted. You don't want to see like a ton of highlight. And I did go back in with my blush brush and kind of ran it over there again, just so that the two will kind of blend together without the highlighter sitting on top of the blush. Then I'm going to go in with that same same pencil brush that I used earlier with the Fairly Precious Skin Finish, and I apply that on the tip of my nose as well as down the bridge. And this is the look, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, for watching, and thank you so much to my new subscribers. You guys are amazing. And yeah, this is the look. If you guys want to see the eye look for this makeup, let me know and I'll post it. I did record it, but I just mainly focused on the foundation, contour, and highlight in this video. And if you guys want to see picture, they're also in on my blog, and the link is in the description bar below. Thank you, guys.